Welcome back, guys. This is Shrikant. Today we are going to talk about SQL performance tuning. This series I'm going to create on a public demand. I received multiple requests from multiple users that they need this kind of video. Okay, so let's start. Before understanding the SQL performance tuning or any performance problem, let's try to understand a generic problem. So, for example, now you are working for a company. What will happen when you are a part of a development team? That time you would receive a BRD from the customer. So when you will understand the BRD, what's there, what the requirement is, everything, then multiple call happens and you will develop what is there in the BRD. Then things will go to the production. When things will go to the production, that time whatever you have developed, everything works very fine. It gives you result in a fast retrieval, very minimal time. But after some days, when data increases gradually, that time at some point data become very huge. And the code which you have written by keeping a small data set in a mind which doesn't perform very well. The query which was taking time around 1 second, it started taking time around 1 minute, right? So this kind of problem comes when the things go to the production, right? So to avoid such kind of problem, then things come to the performance engineer. So business again come to you or a new team. They ask that, okay, we want to tune this code, we want to increase the performance. So again the things will happen. So that from that point, the performance engineer come into the picture and performance tuning will start, right? Again, the next example I would like to tell you. For example, I'm giving you one small problem, and there are two developers. A same problem can be solved by multiple ways. So for example, my requirement is I have a table called as a data. In the data, I have a column called as ID, and there I have a value called as a 1. My requirement is basically I just want to see a record where ID is equal to 1. And I have the two developer or the two person. So each one will try to write the code in their own way, right? So for example, first developer is going to write code like select star from data where ID is equal to 1. A same kind of requirement can be written in multiple way, right? So as I said, so for example, another developer is going to write a code like select star from data where id in 1. So my requirement was a simple, like I just want a record where id is equal to 1, and I have a two developer, they have written a two different way, right? But the output is getting a same. Okay, now, so what happened when we develop any code? That time we won't think a future way, correct way. We just think, okay, we have a requirement, just work on it and just finish it up. But sometimes we need to write a optimized code so that when the data will increase or the data won't get increased, that time also it should perform very well. We don't think about that, right? So that time this performance problem started. Let me give you one small example which I work and how I tune the performance issues. So I got a requirement that one of the code in the production, one of the store procedure in the production, it takes around 15 hours. The business want basically to tune it to less than 30 minutes. This was asked. Then I got the problem, then I tried to understand what it is, right? When I tried to understand the problem, I realized that that single store procedure basically loops under, it basically works on looping. So it has around 90 days looping, and every basically day it has a single loop. So what would I would say, it has basically 90 loops for each day. No, for 90 days, right? So what does that mean? It means that one single day it takes some time, right? Okay, so what I observe, for a one day it takes around 10 minutes. So for 90 days data load, how much time it will take? It will just simply we need to multiply it by 90 minutes, right? So what will we get? We will get basically 900 minutes. If I try to convert this 900 minute to hour, so what will I get? So I would say this is 900 minute divided by 60 minute. So I would get 15 hour, right? So 15 into 16, right? So just or simple word you can say simply, if you just try to convert this 900 minute into 60 minute, you would get 15 hour, right? This was the time actually. So the problem was the code was taking 15 hours. Then I try to understand, I realized it basically runs under a loop. So 90 days 90 loops. For one day it takes around, for one day it takes around 10 minutes. Then for 90 days it will take, it will take 900 minutes, right? Correct. So 10 minutes to make it more understandable, 10 minutes. Fine. Then if I try to convert to the aggregate, right? So 900 minute divided by 60 minutes, so I would get 15 hours. So that was the problem. So what I did basically, I tried to use my experience, my knowledge with the performance tuning and how I perform that. So I tried to for this one day code, I tuned the code in a such a way, for one day it was taking 10 seconds. So for one day data, it was taking around 10 seconds, right? Makes sense, right? Then the loop was running 90 times. So what I did, the loop was needed actually, so I didn't remove that loop. But 90 days is equal to 10 seconds. So how long it should take? It should take 900 seconds, right? Then if I try to convert this 900 seconds to upper level, so 900 divided by 60 seconds, it would come around 15 minutes, right? So this is what called as a performance tuning. The ask was basically for 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes, and this is what. So the code was taking 15 hours, and I tuned the code in such a way the code was taking the 15 minutes. This is the a small example I have given. So what I have done, how I perform all those things, we'll talk about that. But the interesting thing what I'm going to tell you, the thing is basically when the things come to you for performance tuning, there is always chance that the code has been written in poor fashion, a proper indexing has not been used, right? A proper code review thing has not been understood. There should be some kind of data reading problem that should be called as some kind of IO issues. That all those things we need to understand. Perfect. Now let's start with the performance tuning. For example, you are attending the interview, and if interviewer asks you what would be your first step for solving the performance tuning problem. So what do you do say? Your answer should be, first of all, I would see the execution plan of any query or the stored procedure or the query. Then only I would understand where the problem is, which part of the code, or or which part of the stored procedure is taking time. That first of all I need to understand. I need to figure out that part, right? So from where you will figure out those part, that from that part you will figure out from only the execution plan, right? So what are the different type of execution plan we have? Type of